Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Nasu with Fight for Kidneys, where we come and encourage you, or where I come and encourage you, educate you, empower you on how to protect your kidneys, and if your kidneys have failed, how to live a thriving life with your with kidney disease. Do not let kidney disease stress you. Figure out how to work around it. Thank you so much for all of you who have been watching. Thanks to those new subscribers. Thank you for sharing. Today I'll back on the topic that I talked about last week, or the last video. And I talked about the 5 stages of grief. And this is 5 stages of grief when you go through a chronic condition, when you have been diagnosed with a chronic condition. All for this particular topic is when you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, or when you have been told that your kidneys have failed. Without wasting more time, I'll go back to those 5 stages of grief, and because I didn't want that video to be too long, so this is part 2 of the last video that we talked about 5 stages of grief. So it's so today I'll talk to you about what you do when you're going through these stages of grief. So the first thing we talked about is anger. No, denial. So most people, when they are diagnosed with kidney failure, they have denial, and they do not understand or believe that really they have that diagnosis they have been told they have. So what can you do when you're going through denial at that particular time? And I know most of us do that. When we are told we have that condition, we go and learn more. Sometimes we go to Dr. Google, who may not provide us all the information. But say if it's chronic, if you have been diagnosed with kidney disease, go to those foundations, those organizations, or sometimes come watch me. And learn about that condition. So engage yourself and learn more about the condition, how to handle it, what happens, what can you do. So knowledge is important. Knowledge is power. So during the denial time, the best way to be able to go through this denial is learning more about the disease. Sometimes people are scared. They think they're gonna die and that's end of life. But when you learn about the condition, when you learn about the disease, you find out, oh, you can live a long life, you can manage it. There are so many ways that you can do to cope with the disease and to be able to live a thriving life with disease. Especially, like, say for instance, chronic kidney disease. There are so many ways. You know, there's the treatments that are available there. There's transplant. So you can start talking to people about kidney transplant and trying to make choices of what kind of treatment would you like to do, whether you want to do it at home or you want to do it in center. So there are those options that are out there. Or start talking to somebody and they might be able to give you kidney before even you start treatment. So just do some learning so that you can be empowered. Anger. The other thing is people are very angry when they are diagnosed with chronic condition, but also when they have chronic kidney disease. I remember when I started telling people that I need to work in dialysis or people with renal failure, most nurses were scared. They're like, oh, those people are always moody and those people are always angry. And now that I'm in that arena, I understand why sometimes people tend to be angry, very upset. It's because of what they are going through, what they have learned, trying to cope with the disease. So the best way is, if you are at that stage where you are angry, is trying to come up with some creative ways to take your mind off. Like during COVID, a lot of us, or a lot of you, came up with ways to cope. People didn't know they have skills that they didn't know they can paint. Some people didn't know they can sew. Some people didn't know they can knit. Some people didn't even know they can play basketball. So find something that can keep you active, creative, and taking your minds out of the condition. So don't sit there and be angry. Probably come up with a recipe. Start baking if you have never baked, or you have always had something like, oh, I need to bake. If you're that lady who like makeup, learn some new skills and activity to keep you occupied. The other thing is bargaining stage. This is where you're like, oh, really, you know, and asking yourself, why me, what happened, you know. Try to filter those negativity and surround yourself with people who are positive, people who are encouraging, people who are really telling you you can do it. You know, don't sit there and say, I wish I knew, or start, you know, blaming people trying to do this. You know, look for people surrounding you so you can take your mind off and try to be positive. When the thought of negativity come in, try to think of something positive, and you can do the same activities, something positive to keep you out of that and not hating yourself for something that you felt you didn't do. And most of the time I hear people say, I wish I took care of my blood pressure when I was told that my kidneys are failing, and they blame themselves. They are bargaining. What if I did this? What if I did this? I probably would not have had kidney disease. You know, sometimes it depends with where your stage were, where you were told that your kidneys are failing. When did the doctor find out? So the only way you can be able to cope with this is try to make sure that you are filtering those negativity and looking at the positive side, knowing that it could have been something else, it could be something else. We always find ourselves seeing like we are in the worst situation, but when you hear somebody else, you find, oh, really, mine is just not that bad. You know, there's somebody else going through something else. So don't hate yourself. Just look something to keep you occupied. I talked about depression also. That's another stage of the stages of grief that people go with, and depression affects everybody. But we know depression is all about recognizing the symptoms and talking to your provider about the symptom, what you're experiencing. Be open. Do not hold anything. And I see this a lot. When we do those questionnaires, people feel like they have depression. They look at like a stigma, and you find somebody does not want to tell you exactly all what they're feeling. They're like, no, this is not what I'm going through. You know, they hold some information. But when you're at this stage, speak out. Let your providers know what you're going through, how you are feeling. Let the people around you know, the people that you care about, the people who care about you. Tell them, talk to somebody. And if you're prescribed some medications, please take those medications. They'll help you. I have seen people, they take it for 1 week, they stop. Those are not the medication you can take 1 week and you stop, you pick up the next weekend. No, you have to consistently continue taking those medications and keep telling the providers, like, whatever the medication you're taking, is it helping you? How are you feeling? You know, because it's not all medication fit one person, or it's not all shoe fits everybody. So sometimes it's a trial and error to see which medications fits you and work well with you, because sometimes even those medications have side effects that might even make you feel even worse. So it's always good to talk to your provider and let them know how you're feeling. The other stage that we talked about is about acceptance, and this is where now people are open, people are talking. So during this stage, just know you are not alone. There's communities, there are people around you, there are those the people who take care of you. Like if you're in dialysis, the nurses, the techs, the doctors, the social worker, the dietitians, talk to them. Also, if you're in the community, talk to your community. So try to have a community around you that you feel now, you know, you are secure and you can be able to go through this. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Keep spreading the word. Keep talking to people about kidney disease, kidney failure, causes of kidney failure. And let me remind you, the main two causes of kidney failure is high blood pressure and diabetes. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, please make sure you're getting checked. Make sure you know your kidney status. Get to know your kidney status, because the earlier you know, the better the area you know, the area you can preserve your kidneys or you can protect your kidneys. Until next time, thanks so much. This is Nasu with Fight for Kidneys, and I'm always here to fight for kidneys and telling you, let us protect our kidneys by knowing our kidney status. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for sharing.